Welcome in to Racing to Win. Back at Sha Tin this Sunday, and an extra race to find a winner in as well. 11 race program. The Griffins make an appearance, and there is some Group 3 staying racing. To preview it all, joined in the studio for this episode by Paul Lully and Tom Wooden. Tom, Group 1 racing last week, but the stayers take focus this week.
Yeah, they do, Mark. We've got the Queen Mother Memorial Cup over the 2,400 metres, one of only 3 races that we do run here in Hong Kong over the 2,400 metres. A good field assembled for it, but we've seen what the weather does, because there is some heavy, squally, thundery showers in the forecast.
There is indeed, so we'll let you know how that is getting on throughout the afternoon. No jackpots, Paul, but as on Wednesday night, we had a new name on the jockeys list, another one this Sunday.
Yeah, Alice Wong. So, and he's got a really good ride in the Griffin, race number 1 as well. 1 start, 1 win for Kaholo Angel. So it looks a really good introduction into Hong Kong. Even fields throughout the race. I think there's some really good young progressive horses. Looking forward to Golden Express, for example, racing around later in the card. Red Elegance as well. So the undercard's just as good.
It sure is. But Paul mentioned the new kid in town, so to speak. His name is Alice Wong. He was introduced to the press yesterday morning at Sha Tin, and he spoke to our very own Nick Child.
Alice Wong, great to have you back in Hong Kong. First of all, how excited are you to be back in Hong Kong now as an apprentice jockey?
I'm very excited to come back to Hong Kong to race Y. That's my dream, and that's my dream, and I try the best. I'm really happy for that.
Alice, I guess when you joined the apprentice school all those years ago, you've obviously had your experience now down in Australia. You must have been really excited to sort of get back here and what Hong Kong racing represents. Obviously, this is a huge stage to be riding on. So great for you to come back with that experience in Australia.
Hong Kong is really top level in the racing in the world. I learned a lot in Australia. So I start at 0. So everything, like jump the horse, like travel the horse, like pushing, use the whip, everything. Yeah, got a good experience.
You're joining Casper Founds. You mentioned earlier on that Vincent Ho is a bit of an idol of yours, somebody you'd like to try and emulate. How important is it for you to join a stable like Mr. Founds? Obviously, he's a big, successful trainer. There should be plenty of opportunities for you.
Yeah, I'm really lucky can follow Casper, and he is a really good trainer. And Vincent Ho, he's my model, and he do everything good and professional. So I try to walk in role and do what he's doing. Just try to learn him.
You've got 1 ride on Sunday. Your first ride in Hong Kong is on a horse for your master in the shape of Kaholo Angel. I know you probably don't know too much about the horse, but he looks like an exciting ride, given that he's had 1 race, 1 win, and you're able to claim £10 off him. You must be excited to ride what looks to be a smart horse.
Yeah, he gave me a really good ride, and I'm excited too, but I just don't think too much and try my best.
Comes back, Tom, from South Australia. 88 winners indentured to the Searle stable down there, and what a way to kick off with a real life chance at his first ride in Hong Kong.
Absolutely, because he comes up with the £7 penalty after winning his first race, does Kaholo Angel. But with that claim, Paul, he's actually meeting all of these horses basically £3 better off.
Yeah, and he did win really well, didn't he, on debut? So look, it's a great ride to start.
Now, Ellis made the top 16 in the Junior World Championships of Taekwondo, so if he does ride a bad race...
Yeah, we will keep quiet.
Yeah. Just a word of warning, otherwise you might get the smackdown laid on you throughout the afternoon. We do have a withdrawal before we crack on to the meeting. Race 10, number 6, Quadruple Double, has been replaced by Manstar with Victor Wong to take the ride on Manstar. Now, the meeting details for this week. We are all on the turf on Sunday for the 11 races. Meeting number 68, so we're getting towards the back end of the season. B course will be where the rail is positioned. 12:30 the first, the 2 races we focus on, races 7 and 9, and the 9th being the Group 3. But the 7th is the Hong Kong Chuchao Chamber of Commerce Centenary Cup Trophy race, with Nervous Witness having the hood and the crossover noseband off. Winning Dreamer has the blinkers off. We've got Adios badly held up last time. Oriental Smoke gets that £7 claim for Angus Chung. Golden Express has won his last two. Comes up in grade for the first time. Street Scream has his first start in around 8 weeks. And Sunny Boy is a 19-start maiden in this grade. Now the speed map here, Tom, has Nervous Witness rolling to the lead from barrier 9.
We missed the start last time out, and that completely changed the whole complex of the race in the end, that he lined up and that Victor the winner was able to lead in. So whether he jumps cleanly, he's put in 2 unacceptable performances in his last 2 starts now. Nervous Witness. Stoltz will be handy. Adios should be right behind him. He should be a bit close on the run, I feel, certainly Paul, from barrier number 1. And Goko wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe one place further back, because I think that's probably where he does his better racing.
Yeah, he does. He does race better from the back. From barrier 3, I just thought they might be a little bit tempted to run him a little bit closer. Winning Dream is another one that does like to go forward as well.
Winning Dreamer is a 5-time course and distance winner for the Frankie Law stable, but it is David Hayes we're going to hear from firstly. Nick spoke to David about his chances, Nervous Witness and also Oriental Smoke.
David Hayes, you've got a couple of runners in race 7 coming up on Sunday afternoon, a 1200 metre sprint race, the Class 2. Let's start with your top weight, Nervous Witness. You've stripped all the headgear off him this time around.
Yeah, he's been missing the start the last couple of runs, and I think he's been resenting the crossover. So I hope that's the case, because he's a leader, and when leaders miss the start, it's pretty fatal, and that's what's happened his last. So if you're prepared to bet that he jumps well, he'll be a totally different horse on the weekend.
He's had that trial since. Very impressive. He always has been quite impressive in his trials, but that was obviously minus headgear. What was Lyle Hewittson's report on that performance?
Yeah, he thought he was very good.
Yeah.
It was visually good. There was a lot of speed in it. He didn't lead, which was a bit of a surprise. And he quickened up quite nicely without trying too hard. So just showed that he's on song, providing he tidies up his gate work.
If we go back to his run 3 starts ago, when third to Duquois, I mean, that certainly gives him very solid claims now that he's got down to double figures.
Yes, I think he's a triple-digit horse,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of time till he gets back there.
He's proven that, though, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Your other runner is Oriental Smoke. Now, we saw a bit more from him last time, didn't we?
Yeah, I think the key to this horse in upper class is good barriers.
Yeah.
When he gets a good barrier, he puts himself in a good spot and he'll run well. It's not a terrible barrier, but I prefer him to draw in, a bit more in.
Yeah, he's improved 18 pounds this season, David. He's had a good season. Was your hand forced a little bit with booking Angus Chung to take that 7 pounds off?
I just thought get a bit of weight relief.
Yeah.
He's probably at his mark,
Yeah.
and needs everything in his favour to win in this class.
He's had a busy campaign there, hasn't he? I mean, the 3-time winner from 10 this season, certainly not bad going.
Yeah, and look, apart from just recently, always in the money. I think he's won $4.5 million this year, so he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's done a super job. And your horses are doing a great job as well. They've certainly showing their hand of late. I thought Lucky Encounter was quite impressive there recently for him.
Really happy with him. He's a horse that I think's got a lot of upside. He sat off the pace and finished strongly and won pretty well. So more to come, we hope.
David Hayes there, and we're going to stick on that replay you saw during the interview, Tom, with David, with Nervous Witness and Oriental Smoke already talked about. Goko Wynn's been holding his form okay, winning Dreamer on the outside, Carroll Street, but there's a very unlucky runner by the name of Adios here in those yellow and blue stripes.
Yeah, and he just got so far back last time out from that draw that he had of barrier number 12 and just couldn't get clear in the straight. So he was pretty much untested over the final stages here. Adios, you can see Victor the winner up front here with the carrying horse there on the outside. How deep is your love, Paul? We know he's come out of this race and performed, but look, you can see Adios behind them. The Nervous Witness dropping out of it. Goko Wynn was a good enough run again too.
Yeah, he ran well, and look, you're right, everyone sort of saw that one with Adios once he got into the clear. He's a recent winner on the all-weather, but we know he performs well on the turf as well.
It was 47 to 1 in that race, Adios, and his form before that was a win and a second on the all-weather. We move on, Paul, to Golden Express. Now, he's won his last 2. Took him a few starts to win in Hong Kong. It was 3 he'd had before that win over Wonder Kit, then franked that form by winning again. Can he take the rise up in grade in one hit?
Yeah, I think he can win this race. Look, he ran up against Victor the winner on debut, then he ran up against Super Sunny Singh, and then he just came right and he's won his last 2 really nicely. I think he's very progressive. I think he can win this.
Yeah, I think he can as well. He's currently at 1.8 in the market, pretty effortless over the final stages. Just nudged out a little bit, a couple of strides there by Zach Purton, but ran clear. He's going to be too good for this lot, I think.
Just on Zach Tom, we've got around 20 meetings to go for the season. The record is still a possibility. We're going to see the graphic now of what Zach needs to do and how many winners per meeting. In fact, that's coming up after Golden Express.
Yeah, and you can see that he's won the 2 of his 5 first starts here, but placing another couple. He's only missed the top 4 on the one occasion, Paul, and that was when he was 5th behind Not Usual Star.
Yeah, so he's come out of some really strong form races, and he's just gone on with it now, so that's good. And here's what Zach needs to do to break that record, and it's more than possible.
Yeah, he's got 44 wins that he needs to produce, which is just over 2 wins a meeting required. He's had 19 winners across the last 10 meetings, currently sitting on 127. Of course, the record, Jay Morera, 170 back in 2016-17.
Yes or no? Will he do it?
Touch and go, yes.
Paul?
Yeah, I think he will.
Okay.
He's got some really good rides on the weekend too, which I think he's got a few winners there. So the next couple of weeks will be crucial, but I think he can.
All right, Zach looking for a record-breaking territory in most wins for the season. Stoltz here, Paul. He's been to the trials. He has had 1 start back, ran 8th on the all-weather. He placed a 2nd up his only time.
Yeah, look, I think he's a better horse at Happy Valley. As Stoltz, look, he's 2 times over this course in distance for nothing, but has been placed at Sha Tin, but I prefer him at Happy Valley.
Yeah, likewise, he's trialling next to Helene Feeling, who was beaten midweek, into Amazing Victory, who goes around a little bit later on the card. There was nothing wrong with his trial. Here he is 2nd up. He's only run 2nd up. He has placed, but you look at his form, his winning and placings anyway have all been at the Valley.
That is a look at runners in race number 7 on the program, Paul, and you're with the favourite.
Yeah, I think Golden Express is very progressive. He can go forward and win this race. Adios was very unlucky at his last start, and he was quite impressive on the all-weather before that. Goko wins, held his form in Oriental Smoke. Just a little awkward in 7, but I think he'll be running on strongly. 7-5-8-6.
Yeah, I'm with Golden Express as well. I think he can dominate this race for Zach Purton and John Size. He's up here into Class 2 for the first time with a lightish weight on his back. Adios, that looks to be the obvious Quinella, I thought. Goko win, hopefully they might be a little bit more patient with him, because that's where I think he's run his best races, coming from a little bit further back off the pace. And Carroll Street, I thought, stayed on well enough wider behind Victor the winner. It was between him and Oriental Smoke for 4th, but I went with the senior jockey on Carroll Street here. 7, 5, 8 and 4.
And that is the preview for race number 7. We're going to break here on Racing to Win. On the other side of this, it's Group 3 racing to preview. Welcome back to Racing to Win. We're looking at Sha Tin on Sunday, and some Group Mile and a Half racing to look at now, as the lead up to the Champions in Chater is the 9th. It is the running of the Group 3, the Queen Mother Memorial. 2,400 metres, international Group 3 rating it is. We've got Russian Emperor, who's coming back from successful racing in the Middle East. Senor Toba too has also come back from Qatar and the UAE. Panfield, he has won over this distance before. It was the 2021 Champions in Chater. Running Glory, first time at the distance. Columbus County has placed 2 from 5 over 2,400 metres. Butterfield won this race a couple of years ago. Straight Aaron has his first look beyond 2,000 metres. Sword Point with the cheek pieces off. 5G Patch, a 2-time winner over 2,000 metres. And Natural Storm, a 3-time winner over 2,200. Never tried this trip and never raced above Class 3 Natural Storm. He's thrown right in the deep end here, but he does love a distance race. Now, the speed map here, Tom, with a rare 2,400 metre race, giving them over 400 metres run to the first turn.
Yeah, always a bit tricky to try and sort of sum these races up, because we have so few of them here in Hong Kong. Sword Point can roll forward. They tried that with him last time out, and he was beaten by Straight Aaron. Butterfield, of course, he contested this race last year, and there were only 5 other runners in it on what was a rain-affected track. Torby and Diamond on a quick turnaround. Senor Toba, what do they do with Beauty Verse, Paul? Because he's really lost his way.
Yeah, that was the $1 million question, because when he won on debut, he led, didn't he? They pushed him to the lead, but he's been going back normally. He's got a wide draw, so I think he'll probably go back.
That is the speed map for our group race. But one man with a very strong hand in the race is trainer Casper Founds.
Let's chat about your trio of runners. Let's start with Senor Toba. Obviously, he himself was the winner of this race 12 months ago. What's your overall assessment of his Middle Eastern adventure? I guess, ideally, you would have hoped for a bit better.
Oh, yeah, a lot better, actually. But, you know, he was plagued with some internal issues over there, and hopefully that's behind us now. His form prior to leaving Hong Kong was very good, winning the 1800. He looked strong through the line, and now he's back here at Sha Tin, and you know, obviously he's carrying 134. But we'd be hoping for him to bounce back and show us what his true form is.
These are his type of races, aren't they, Casper?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at targets for a horse like Senor Toba, I guess this month encompasses what you aim for with a horse like him.
100% right, yeah. That's what we'll be looking at these next 2 races, and hopefully he's there to pick up some nice prize money for us.
I thought probably one of your most interesting runners in the race, now you've got the 3 of them, but perhaps one of the more interesting is Columbus County. Now, I know he's a bit of a favourite amongst the stable. He's never actually won this distance, but some of his placed efforts, notably in a Champion and Chaser and a Hong Kong Vase, have been very good if you get into his form.
100% right. Look, he's the dark horse coming in off 120. He's got a nice galloping weight. He's got a fresh pair of legs. He could give a little bit of cheek in this race, you know, and like I said, he looks a treat. There's quite a bit of depth in this race. It's a race that's obviously got a lot of competition in it, so we'll be certainly respecting our competitors, and we're hopeful with a 3-pronged attack that we can get a winning result with one of them.
I guess the winning result may well come from your lightly racehorse that you've now inherited in the shape of Straight Aaron, obviously. Let's go back to his derby. I know, you know, I've read on record that if you go back and have the race again, you think he might have got that bit closer.
I know he would have. I mean, we've proven that a few weeks later, coming out and spanking the horse that obviously should have won the derby in Sword Point, whatever it's called. He looked like he was unlucky as well, but you know, he had the opportunity of doing that. We didn't. We were just stuck on the inside, and it's not the place to be on this horse. He's pretty electric when he gets a bit of room, and obviously we'll be hoping that we've stepped him up in distance this time. 2400. It's a little bit of a risk factor, but the horse has come out of his race as well. He presents well, and I normally wouldn't run a horse out of the ratings and also put overweight on one unless I think his true rating isn't there yet, and I believe he's a horse that's going to be well into the triple figures going forward. So we've thrown him in here, you know, and we're hopeful that if he runs the distance out, he'll certainly make his presence felt.
And there is an extended chat with Casper Fownes this week on Hong Kong Direct. Also a review of FWD Champions Day. You can find it on the website hkjc.com. Click on audio and video, and this week's Hong Kong Direct is there waiting for you. Waiting for us, though, Tom, is the replay of Straight Aaron's last win. He's also got Sword Point, Butterfield and Beautyverse coming out of this race as well. As we see Straight Aaron there in those orange colours, very dominant. Also Sword Point, he keeps on in second place. Butterfield, he'll run a strong 2,400 metres, and we touched on Beautyverse during the speed map. Yeah,
Butterfield ran second in this race last year and was a prior winner the year before, and so look, he comes into this in good enough form at the moment. He's got a lightish weight on his back here, but Straight Aaron put them away stylishly here, Paul. If he brings that sort of form, even though he is 4 pounds out of the handicap, he's going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look through his pedigree, he's out of a Tavistock mare, and he's got Zabeel on the dam side as well. So there's plenty of staying right through that. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with him staying.
He did run third at Randwick over 2,000 metres prior to arriving. Paul, there is his report card since he's been here.
Yeah, and he's looked really good those last couple of starts. He had unlucky run in the Derby as well. So and you can see what's come out of the Derby. These horses have all run well since.
They have Voyage Bubble, even though he had a bit of a scruffy run in transit there in the Champions Mile. He ran fourth. Tuka was third. Beauty Eternal won the other day. Straight Aaron's won. Sword Points run second. La City Blanche came out and won at Happy Valley the other week. So that 4-year-old series and the Derby form really starting to stack up quite well.
We're going overseas now, Tom, and Russian Emperor. This was his win a couple of starts ago in the Al Rayyan Qatar, and there he is on the outside. We've also got Senor Toba, who was disappointing during his Middle East adventure. The other thing in the favour for Russian Emperor this week is the weather report.
Yeah, if it does rain like they are saying it's going to, with some downpours and thunderstorms, that could bring him in. But he's got 135 pounds to carry. He won well over in this race here at Qatar in the HH Amir Trophy. But then, look, I know he's run into Equinox, but he was a little bit plain Jane, I thought, in a couple of those runs, Paul, and Senor Toba was very ordinary, I thought. Yeah,
it was, and look, it was a nice enough win here. Look, there is rain forecast. He goes in on a very minor line because he has to give weight to progressive horses.
Yeah, 135 pounds on the back of a Russian Emperor, and we've got the little horse here, Paul Running Glory. There he is. He will carry a weight of 122 pounds, and Butterfield lines up in this replay as well.
Yeah, look, Butterfield, he's a horse that does like this race. He's obviously won it in the past. fast. He was right in the cusp for me, and Running Glory likewise. He's stepping up in distance. Always looks like he's going to get it.
Yeah, he's chased home, of course, California Spangler there at Group 2 level, so that I think would probably bring him into a calculation here. Yes, he has to see out 2,400 metres, but the way he finds the line all the time, I don't think there would be too many reasons to sort of suggest that he just wouldn't find the 2,400.
Good report for the little horse there, Running Glory. So Group 3 racing, 1.5 miles, Paul. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Straight Aaron in this race. I think the horse comes in really good light racing weight. It looks really well set up. I think he can stay. I'm sure he can stay. So he's on top from Panfield. It's his type of race. Sword Point and Russian Emperor. 8, 3, 9 and 1.
8 on top for me as well. That is Straight Aaron up to the 2,400 metres should be ideal. I think 5G Patch can run a race in this at odds. Running Glory and Sword Point. So 8, 10, 5 and 9.
11 races this week, Paul. So instead of the usual 8 extra winners we find, we need 9 this week, please.
We do. Look, I thought Kaholo Angel could win again with the Apprentice Claim aboard. Master of Luck downgraded. Simple Hedge really caught the eye at his last start. Was a good win from him. Nicholson Returns has been very progressive. Master of Fortune's run 2 really good races recently. Baby Crystal after a spell as well looks good. And Sturdy Ruby I think can win at a big price.
Of those 11, who is your best?
The best, I'm going to go with Baby Crystal. This horse has had a little spell, ran really well when he debuted here in Hong Kong, just beaten. And the race he won, a lot of winners have come out of it. And Sturdy Ruby coming to Sha Tin for the first time. Back to 1400, I think will suit him as well. We'll do the play in race 10, which is a QQP Invincible Sage, Flying High and Red Elegance.
Best for me in the third race, Simple Hedge really caught the eye at his Hong Kong debut last time out, flashed home into a placing. Invincible Sage brings some interesting form lines out of Australia. He's in a very strong race down the straight for David Hall. And it all up, Simple Hedge, Golden Express into Straight Aaron and Mighty Stride.
It's a clean sweep for Person on the best bets. Race 4, number 7, Nicholson Returns, goes to 2,000 metres for the first time. His racing style is going to suit that down to the ground. President's Choice has one off a similar rating, comes back to Sha Tin, where his best form has been at, struggled on the all-weather last time. And the play race 5, Happy Day down in grade, Perfetto and President's Choice in a QQP 1, 2, 10. So that has been Sha Tin on Sunday. Tom, we stay at Sha Tin midweek.
Yeah, triple header. Of course, we've got racing on the all-weather. I think the main event there is a Class 2 race, so 8 races under the lights on the all-weather, Paul.
Yeah, having Aguila running around again, I think he'll be hard to beat in that race.
And some big jackpots too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's some real good ones.
Yep,
yeah.
6 up and a triple trio. But that has been Sha Tin Sunday. We'll see you for the first of the 11 races at the earlier start time of 12:30.